What's up, PCP Army? What's up, everybody? How are you doing? I'm Rockin' Robbie Billups, and welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. Tonight, we will be talking new comics on New Comic Book Day, here for December 16th, 2020. We've been doing these for the last couple of weeks. We've had a lot of fun doing them, and we're trying something a little bit different tonight. So here's what you have to look forward to in tonight's stream. I will, at first, for basically the first third of the show, we'll be delivering my top 10 comic books of the week. There you go. So that's what we're doing tonight. And then around 8:30-ish Central Time, Brooks, the magnificent Mario Master Micro Mutant Machine, will be joining us to talk about the comic books from this week. So tonight is all going to be about comic books. Now, we're going to try not to spoil things in the book. So please, in the chat, don't try to spoil anything. But there may be some slight spoilage that slips out here and there in the discussion. So bear with us. And the first thing we're going to do is my top 10. And then, like I said, in about 20 to 30 minutes from now, Brooks will be joining us. And we plan on chatting about comic books for about an hour and revealing his pick of the weeks and talking about the comic books we want to talk about and what you want to talk about. So let's get right into it. And so bear with me on this, okay? This is going to be a little bit strange, but here we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin' Robbie Billups, and it's time for my top 10 comic books of the week. That's right, everybody. Thanks for checking out the video. I am Rockin' Robbie Billups, and this is my top 10 comic books of the week. It's not a spec list, just a list of my favorite comic books of the week. At number 10, we have Resonant number 6. This is from Vault Comics. It's written by David Andre with artwork by Skylar Patridge, lettering by Darren Bennett, and coloring by Jason Wordie. Now, this is the long-awaited return of Resonant. The first volume came out last year. I really liked it. It's about a world. It's kind of post-apocalyptic. This is definitely perfect for fans of books like The Walking Dead. It's kind of like survival horror. It's got that vibe going on. But in this world, these waves hit. And when a wave hits, whatever weird impulse is at the tip of your brain, or just underneath the surface, I should say, gets unleashed. So if you have this idea of what would my arms look like without skin, for the next few minutes, you're going to be clawing the skin off of your arm. So it's a very dangerous time. It's really cool, but it's got this heart root of a family. So Andre continues to deliver the story. He doesn't skip a beat. This picks up directly where arc 1 left off. So if you're trying to jump in on this issue, I would definitely recommend that you actually get the first trade paperback. We got a new artist, Skylar Patridge or Patridge. I'm not quite sure in that, but she's got a completely different style than the previous artist, but you got the consistency lent by Jason Wordie's colors, which have such a great amount of texture to them, and then Darren Bennett with the lettering, and actually the lettering almost seems audible, and so does the artwork. And of course, Skylar is adapting and shifting her form and style for this book to fit the atmosphere. Resonant number 6 from Vault was the number 10 book of the week. At number 9, we've got Dark Knight's Death Metal number 6. It's the penultimate issue of Dark Knight's Death Metal. Now, no surprise to anybody that checks out the channel, but I absolutely love and adore and cherish each and every moment of Scott Snyder's Metal, Justice League, and Death Metal. This has been a culmination of a story that he's been telling for a while. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It feels like he's having a lot of fun with it, especially with his partner in crime, Greg Capullo. The artwork in this book is fantastic. It's some of his best, big, boisterous, explosive work. It really scratches that multiversal crisis itch that I constantly have and desire out of my comic books. I know it's not for everybody, but I'm loving every moment of it. And I love how Scott and Greg and company are able to actually tell a subtextual story about the state of DC, about the state of comic books, about the state of reboots, relaunches, and all this kind of stuff, and basically embracing the idea, which we hold firmly true here at PCP, that every story matters. At number 9, Dark Knight's Death Metal number 6. At number 8, we've got Solid Blood number 17. Now, was this issue as good as the previous 16? I don't know. We didn't get to read those, but this is one of those surprise comic books from Robert Kirkman and Ryan Ottley. It's printed on newsprint paper. And I absolutely love this book. I think it's super fantastic. It was really fun. It takes you back to the 90s, 100%. Because, first of all, the newsprint, that's really cool. It drops you mid story. It's insanely violent. It's insanely extreme. But Solid Blood, I had a lot of fun with. This is a nice big tribute to some of those random and well-known Image comics from the 90s. I think I told my boss earlier, like, it felt like when I was a kid and I grabbed like a random issue of Brigade off the shelf and went home and read it and loved it. That's what Solid Blood 17 felt like to me. And I think that was what Kirkman and Otley were trying to do. So yeah, there you go. So that was number 8. And at number 7, then, yes. At number 7, we have Stillwater, number 4. I'm loving this book. I said it in the weekly comic book review. And if you want more comprehensive thoughts on these books and more books, check out the weekly comic book review for sure if you don't already. Stillwater number 4 is great. And I said on that video, it's amazing that pretty much after the first issue, which was a really great setup, structurally a great setup for the entirety of the story, but it felt like the last 3 issues, they've just been explaining things. So they could, be that unbearable word exposition-y. But the way that Zdarsky, the way that Perez and Spicer, the way they're working this story together, it's incredibly engaging and very compelling. It's about this town in which nobody ages and they can't die. They can't get hurt. Like, they do get hurt, but they just heal from it. As long as they stay in the confines of this town, and they're very secretive and they got these very strict rules. And then an outsider who used to be an insider shows up and it throws everything out of whack. So like I said, a bunch of just explaining and building up the characters and the character of the town, but Zdarsky and Perez are able to do it in such a firm and purposeful way that it's incredibly engaging, and I loved it. So Stillwater number 4 from Image Comics, that's coming in at number 7. Yes, and so at number 6, we've got Rorschach issue number 3 from DC Black Label, written by Tom King with artwork by Jorge Fornes. I didn't show you any artwork in Stillwater or Death Metal. This is going to take some getting used to. First of all, I really like the artwork in this book. Jorge Fornes does this great noirish type style, especially with those slightly bleak colors from Dave Stewart that are totally appropriate for the book. But after reading the last issue and understanding, I feel, a little bit more about what Tom King's actually trying to do with this book, I had a lot of fun with it. And so you got this new Rorschach, and there's a murder mystery. The first issue starts with this new Rorschach, and he's dead, and his sidekick. In the second issue, they explain this Rorschach, and he's got a connection to a real-life Steve Ditko, right? And then in the third issue, they give us the origin of his sidekick, of his new partner. And really great, cool stuff. And I love what Tom King's exploring here. The artwork's great. It's a nice tribute to something like The Watchmen. But unlike a lot of other tributes to The Watchmen, like, say, any before Watchmen stuff or Doomsday Clock, it doesn't confine itself to that 9-panel grid. It doesn't confine itself to the panel structure of the original Watchmen. It does its own thing artistically, and it's doing its own thing story-wise, but at the same time feels a bit connected. So we got Rorschach number 3 coming in at number 6. And now it's time for my top 5. And right now, go ahead and list your top 5, top 3, top 1, whatever books of the month, and we'll chat about those as soon as we wrap up. At number 5, we have Sarah and the Royal Stars, issue number 10. This is from Vault Comics. This is the final issue of this fantasy story that's got a lot of Middle Eastern and Eastern influence into it, and it gets kind of thrown in with the Zodiac and its symbology and all that kind of stuff. Really cool. John Sway's done a great job, a great very satisfying ending to this saga. I'm not usually the biggest fantasy fan, but this one really grabbed me and kept me hooked through great characterization and just a nice quest for the heroes in the story. Sarah and the Royal Stars ends fantastically. Audrey Mock, the artwork has been fantastic. Raul Angulo, Jim Campbell, the entire team. So really just hats off to them. If I could, but I got headphones and a Santa hat on. But Sarah and the Royal Stars, number 10, was a fantastic finale. At number 4, We Live, number 3. I say this on the weekly comic book review. I'm just going to repeat myself. This book is taking me by surprise every single issue. It blows me away. I do not know where this story is going. It's a simple concept. The Earth is doomed. We know we're doomed. This alien race has showed up. They're like, we're going to take, what was it, 2,000, 5,000 of your children. They got to wear these things. They got to meet us, and we'll take them away from Earth. You're going to be destroyed, but at least humanity will live on. So this is about the journey of a group of these kids, or at least one in particular, to this meeting spot. And what you thought was going to be based on an entire concept is actually the concept's just kind of the set dressing, and it's actually each issue is doing its own unique one and done story that takes twists and turns in the overall narrative that I just never see coming. The artwork is great, the story is great, the characters are fantastic, and just the way that everything moves and you can't figure this one out, it just blows me away. We live number 3 from the Miranda Brothers and Aftershock. That's coming in at number 4. At number 3, we have King in Black Immortal Hulk number 1. It's a one-shot comic book written by Al Ewing with artwork by Alan Cutter. I really, really like this book. I thought it was great. It's a silent issue. As if any comic book is silent, it's this one, though all of them, I guess, technically are silent. There's no dialogue, right? It's all done through the images. I keep forgetting to show you the images. First of all, I love that this story is called Black Christmas, but the artwork is amazing, and it does a great job of telling us this story, which is set in the King in Black story, but it's not essential to the overall narrative of that story. But it does a great job of just telling us a nice, fun Christmas story involving a very childlike version of the Hulk. I enjoyed this immensely. If you can craft a great silent comic book and completely tell me the story with all the nuance and emotional resonance that's prevalent in a book like this, that is really exactly what comic books are supposed to do, is tell a striking story dynamically and emotionally through images. And that's just exactly what they did here. In Immortal Hulk, King in Black tie-in. At issue number 2, we've got Decorum number 6. This is finally 6 out of 8 issues. This is when all the different elements that Hickman's been building up actually start coming together. So there's been, of course, a plan, a goal, an end game, and I'm excited to see it develop because we've given so much thought and build up of these different areas of the story that now, as they're starting to converge, it feels rewarding. It doesn't just feel like part of the story. It feels like you are deserving of this or something, like you're along with the ride and it's all coming together, and it's just such a fun experience. Plus, you got Mike Huddleston pumping out some of the absolute best artwork I've ever seen in comic books. Each page is different. Each scene has a complete different coloring style. And sometimes you can definitely tell that it's incredibly purposeful. I think it's all purposeful. I think this is such an amazing book, amazing, brilliant world building, fantastic, striking artwork that is, to me, incredibly innovative and next level, like a mug. Decorum number 6 is my number 2 book of the week. And at number 1, we already know it, the pick of the week, Once and Future number 14. Come on, right? So Once and Future is an amazing book. Now, let me tell you something about this. You got Kieran Gillen doing the writing, Dan Mora, Tamara Bonvillain on the artwork, Ed Dukeshire on the coloring. This has been such a consistently brilliant book that does have, in my opinion, the best coloring in a comic book in 2020 is in the pages of Once and Future. This book is so brilliant. And everything that this book has been doing well so far is just perfectly on display at issue number 14. There's everything is so perfect. The line work by Mora is incredibly precise. The coloring by Bonvillain is bold. The choices are dynamic and they pop you. You know, the lettering is super solid. The story is great. And the way that Gillen is able to continue this story going on, I absolutely love this book. It's fantastic. It's definitely, for me, the book of the week, even beating out Decorum. I know. Anyway, that's what I thought. What'd you think? What are your favorite books of the week? Let us know right now in the comments below, in the live chat. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for checking out the video. I've been Rockin' Robbie Billups. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Join us at popculturephilosophers.com for podcast blogs and a whole lot more. I've been Rockin' Robbie Billups. Thanks for rocking with us. Keep on reading. Station. All right, don't worry, we're not done. Just had to get that out of the way. I'm going to cut that together for the folks tomorrow morning that are used to the top 10 video. But I'll be honest with y'all, I'm over the top 10 videos. I don't really like doing them so much. So I don't know what we're going to do, but I'm kind of tired of doing them. And I hate that because there's like just shy of 2,000 people that watch that video. So I don't want to deprive them of that content, but I got to figure out something else. Less time consuming. How's everybody doing? I think we just figured out that the Festivus stream for next Wednesday night, we're not doing one of these things next week. We're doing a Festivus stream, 3rd annual PCP Festivus stream. We're going to do that at 8 p.m. Central Time. So there you go. But if anybody joined us late, we'll run through the top 10 real quick again. At number 10, Resonant. Number 6. At number 9, Death Metal. Number 6. Didn't really show much art from that. Really liking this book. There's a big battle here, but lots of setup. Still lots of setup. One more issue to go. Solid Blood came in at number 8. At number 7, we had Stillwater, a very consistently good book. At number 6, we got Rorschach. At number 5, Sarah and the Royal Stars, the conclusion. Loved the finale. At number 4, we had We Live, number 3. At number 3, we had the Immortal Hulk King in Black one-shot. Really liked that one. At number 2, we had Decorum, number 6. And at number 1, the pick of the week, Once in Future, number 14 from Boom. There you go. TSG says, these top 10 lives are cool. Well, thank you. Thank you. Pretty much what I do is almost a live thing anyway. I don't mind doing and delivering the top 10. It gets bogged down in the editing because I choose to do a little bit more than I typically do because it's no secret that I do not like editing videos whatsoever. If one day, hopefully, we can hire an editor, that would be great. That's my thing. I would love to just, if I could hire an editor, we'd have crazy ass editing going on in the videos. But nah, that shit's not for me. So I want to know right now, before Brooks comes in, we're about 10 minutes away from Brooks popping in. And we're going to have a nice discussion with him live. That's the plan. You know, maybe not every single week, but right now I really like going live on Wednesday nights to talk with y'all about comic books. So we're going to show off some pickups. I got something that I didn't show off in the weekly comic book review, but I definitely want to show it off and say what's up. And I got my man Brooks coming in. We're very, very excited. But I do want to remind everybody that next week, Festivus is December 23rd. It's a Wednesday night. So join us here at 8 p.m. Central Time for our 3rd annual Festivus stream. That's right. We will be celebrating Festivus live with the PCP Army. We'll be airing our grievances, of which there are many. We will be performing feats of strength. And by that, I mean we're going to be revealing our top 5 collectible pickups of the year. It's probably going to be mostly toys. And then y'all vote who had the strongest feats of strength, who had the best top 5 pickups of the year. So there you go. But that's next week. And we got Rockin' Robbie live this upcoming Sunday. But then we're not going to be live pretty much for the rest of the year after that. So get it while it's hot. Let me go back a little bit and check out some of the comments here. Let's go. Let's see. What was your first comic book you read and which one you like? My first comic book I ever read was probably this DC Comics Presents. Oh man, I don't remember the issue number right now. But it featured Captain Comet, which is a character that's severely underused. But it was a random one. I have it somewhere. I'll try to find it. It's somewhere in the other room. I think I know which box it's in. And it's the box the damn cat keeps scratching at. So I think I'll try to bring that for show and tell on Sunday night on Rockin' Robbie Live. But that's what it was. And I just fell in love with it. What really hooked me in to comic books was Fantastic Four. That was the one that I always was super excited to get the next issue. I don't know what it was. I guess it's because, I mean, I grew up watching, superpowers cartoons and things like that, like Galactic Guardians, the Super Friends reruns. I collected the Superpowers action figure line. I had the Secret Wars line. So I was into superheroes before I read comic books. And so I was into all of that stuff. The Spider-Man animated series from the 80s. I'm not talking about Amazing Friends. I did like Amazing Friends, but this Santa hat and these headphones, it's just not working, y'all. So I was into comic books and I was into superheroes before I got into comic books, but the Fantastic Four were new to me. I didn't know who these characters were. So to me, they almost like lived solely in the pages of the comic books until I finally watched my first Fantastic Four cartoon in the 90s when we got Cartoon Network. And Cartoon Network was the one that at the beginning, they aired a lot of the 60s and 70s stuff, and they would rerun the old school Fantastic Four cartoon. And then I was like, whoa. And the love affairs never ended with Fantastic Four. But in those days, it was Superman. It was Fantastic Four. And I'm talking about the 80s now. So I'm like, in my timeline, we're talking about 5 to 10 years old. My comic book habit was consumed by Superman, Fantastic Four, X-Men, Spider-Man, because it was like gang war and all that kind of shit. And that was pretty much it. It was Fantastic Four, X-Men, Spider-Man, and Superman. That was pretty much it. That was what I read the most of. I think it's also because that's what my stepdad picked up. But Fantastic Four, I just loved. And so he started picking it up specifically for me. And when I started, it was just before issue 300. So Johnny and Alicia were about to get married. So at the time, I didn't mind that idea. Later, we come to find out it's actually a Skrull pretending to be Alicia. But I didn't mind that when I was a kid because I had no idea of the history of Ben and Alicia and how much they belong together. TSG says, my pick of the week was my King in Black water tattoo. Yeah, I need to get one of those and do some weird stretch and put them all over my arm. Lots of stations out there. Station, everybody. Eric, I picked up, I got Reckless, but I haven't read it. And it wasn't as quick of a read as Pulp. So I wasn't going to be able to include it on the weekly comic book review, especially because it's been so late over the last couple weeks. My internet was actually working fine last night. So I decided to not review it. So I'm going to do that as a separate video, but I haven't read it yet, but I'm very excited to check it out. Yeah, it's the glare. I know, man. I wish I don't know a better way to figure out the glare except for to not wear glasses, but I can't do that. Oh, Solid Blood was fun. I had a lot of fun with it. I don't even know if Brooks picked that one up. Brooks has got different reading habits than me. So, I grabbed the wrong book. Brooks has got different reading habits than me. He's mostly a Marvel guy, some DC. I read damn near everything. But this book was fun. It's not good. It's not going to change your life. But this book completely captures the feeling, like I said, and this is an accurate ass feeling for me, is it completely captures the feeling of an 11-year-old Robbie going into the comic shop and picking up a random issue of Brigade or some shit like that and going home and just loving it. That's right. When I was a kid, I loved Brigade. And what was the other one? Bloodstrike? Yeah. I love that shit. What's up, Easy Reader? Station. If I miss any comments, don't worry. We're still around. No, I did not read Taskmaster 2, Herminio. I did not. I really did not like issue number 1. I'm already iffy with the character, so I did not check it out. And then, would you know it, Jim Mint, that's his pick of the week. So maybe I'll check it out and see what I missed. But I just don't I'm not the biggest fan of Taskmaster anyway. I think he should be a more serious and threatening villain and look a bit more scary. And so when they usually always do these very humorous and goofy takes on it, it's just not the character I want for that, but Jim said it was good. I'll check it out. And major station out, everybody. We got to give a hearty station to Jim from Jim Mint Collectibles for hitting 100K, everybody. 100K and more on the way. So station to Jim Mint Collectibles. Lots of stations out there. Brooks and Robbie seem like different sides to the same coin, but sometimes we're the same side of different coins. And sometimes we're the same side of the same damn coin. Yes, I totally saw this, and I'm excited. Brooks probably hasn't seen this yet, so I'm very, very excited to share this with him tonight. But the Beta Ray Bill series coming out in March from Daniel Warren Johnson. Y'all, you know that we're down for that here at the PCP Army. Yeah, he's doing the art as well. When Daniel Warren Johnson does it, he does it all. I love it. Dead Earth is one of the best books of the year. I'm considering doing a top 20 this year instead of a top 10. Just allow more books to this. Hey, look who's here, actually. We could do it in person. Station for Jim. Congratulations. It's well earned, my friend. You are a hustler. You are a hard-ass worker. And you inspire me, homie. So congratulations. It's well earned. You deserve it. Dude, Beta Ray Bill by Daniel Warren Johnson. I'm so damned excited. Dead Earth is amazing. Murder Falcon's great. Now I got to go back and read Extremity, which I missed because I think I only read like the first issue and I was just kind of in a hurry or something. But man, I thought that was great. Brooks is going to be joining us. My brother, I love you, man. Much love and much success. All right, Brooks is going to be joining us in a few minutes. We're going to take a quick break, but we will be right back here talking comics live with me and Brooks when we get back from this break. We'll be right back. It's honestly no surprise to me that Brooks is late. So, it is what it is. Some of us like to keep schedules, like to, be professional about these things. Some people just treat it like a fucking joke. I'm just joking. As we're waiting on Brooks, we don't have to wait any longer. There he is. My man.
Sup, man?
You were only a minute late. I'm way proud of you, actually. I was just talking mad shit. How you doing, Brooks? Station. Brooks isn't a joiner. He doesn't like doing that shit.
Yeah, you'll drag me into it eventually, but
yeah, it happens, man. One day you'll You're going to be the guy going station, and we're going to be like, Brooks, it's over.
Like by the time I get into it, it's going to be like, you still doing that?
So everybody, welcome, Brooks. We've been live for a little bit. I just revealed my top 10, Brooks, of the week. So that was exciting, you know. So what I want to ask you is, what was your favorite comic book that you read? Did you read all your books so far?
I haven't gone through all of them yet, but
I know you read the ones you're most excited for first, though.
Yeah. So far, I think Second Coming has been my favorite. That issue cracked me up, man. I really like the first volume of Second Coming.
Yeah.
So I was like excited when I saw your review last night that they were coming out with a new one. I was like, oh yeah, and it lived up to the hype.
Do you like? I like how they're flipping it now to Superman. You know,
I love how his dad is he's just this regular working class guy who's like the smartest son. He's like, and his wife asked him, was like, well, how come, like, why is the planet in such danger? And he's like, look around you. Everything we have is made of fucking crystal. I love the dinner conversation with the fucking annoying ass timeshare guy.
Yes. I had a lot of fun with it, though. And Second Coming is one of those books that could be construed as controversial, but not so much in my opinion. I think it stays true. I think it tries to stay true to the nature and point. Like I said this the other night, and I got a really nice compliment from someone on the weekly comic book review. Because, I mean, you said you watched the video, so you saw how I was talking about how the purpose of satire is to deconstruct something so that we can see what actually is profound about it, basically. Yeah. And somebody said that I was like basically incredibly astute and critically about these things, and they said I was probably honed by college, but that's all me. And the funny thing, y'all, is I didn't go to college. I did. Yeah, Brooks did. But
the thing about satire is like it's so easy to get, like, especially when it comes to religion, to be mean-spirited about it.
Yeah.
And I don't think Second Coming is like that at all.
No, not at all, man.
But it is hilarious.
It was just very funny. And I like that they're doing the same thing they did to the Christ myth or the Christ legend, the Christ story, however you want to, you know, but to Superman now. Like, and focusing in on his origin. And there's a lot of connection between those stories, man. And so I think that's really cool.
Yeah, another part I really liked was when he's talking to his boss. He was like, you know, you're right. He's like, well, I gave you all this information. He's like, why didn't you believe me? And his boss is like, well, I know this is going to sound stupid, but I didn't believe you because it's never happened before.
Yeah, doesn't that sound familiar?
Like, wow.
Doesn't that sound familiar, Brooks?
Yeah.
Did you by any chance happen to get Solid Blood? We were talking.
I did not.
Oh man, this book.
I need to pick that up though, because from what you were saying, it sounded pretty interesting.
Look at that. It is straight up. I've been telling everybody this is like when we were kids. You probably did the same thing, but you go to the comic shop and you pick up a random issue of Brigade, and you get home and you think it's badass. Like that's what this is. Did you read Death Metal yet?
Yes.
What'd you think about it, brother?
I liked it a lot. I can't wait for the next issue, man. Wonder Woman.
Dude, she leveled up. We're not trying to spoil too much, but I love this shit. And everybody on this channel has seen me just go on and on and on about how much I love Death Metal. So I want you to go on for a little bit and just tell us why, like, what do you like about what Snyder's been doing with the metal and the Justice League and the Death Metal? Why are you liking it so much?
I just like it. It's like, you know, it's its own story. Like, it does have like a lot of continuity and stuff, but like I think you can still enjoy it. Like, I'm not a big DC guy. I mean, I know I'm pretty familiar with a lot of DC stuff, but you know, there's also a lot of stuff about DC that I'm not as familiar with. But like Death Metal is just so it's just like he's just having fun with it, you know, like all this craziness, like taking like Dark Side Superman, Wonder Woman with an invisible chainsaw, just like going all out, you know. It's just a fun book, I think.
Hell yeah, man. It's so much fun, and you get like what I love about it thematically is the point. Every story matters. Like, I used to say this all the time. Everybody's worried about what's in continuity. When did this happen compared to this? How is this possible? If this happened, give me a no prize, that kind of thing, right? But it doesn't matter, because the idea is that every story that you read is happening and matters as you read and experience it, right? Even if you experience it in memory, right? Every story matters.
Comic book timelines are kind of like, don't fit in with our timelines either,
Oh, yeah, not at all. I mean, you got the sliding time scale. So, I mean, the Fantastic Four were trying to get to the moon first, and they were. They were there first, right? Remember?
We had to beat the commies, man.
They had, and then the Russians made it to the moon too, because it was Red Ghost, remember? And there were apes made it to the moon,
and the super apes,
and the Watcher was there. James says, I like the Sergeant Rock commentary. That's one of my favorite things about death metal.
Yeah, he's talking about prayers and stuff. Yeah.
Dude, he's talking. Snyder says he's trying to put every single character in here. They all get their shot. And we've had recent revelations that were pretty obvious about Batman and his actual state. And we know there's for lack of a better term, a rebirth coming after this, but it's the idea that every story matters. We're not limiting it to 52 multiverses. We will do whatever we can do with the stories. And James also says the invisible chainsaw was legit. Brooks, that's one of my favorite things on this book. Speak on it.
I also liked how Jarro cussed, and Batman was like, "Hey, watch your language there.
Watch your language." Brooks, I don't think reads We Live, do you?
I do not.
See, Brooks is mostly a Marvel cat. A Marvel zombie, we say sometimes.
Yeah, I haven't read any of the Endless Winter stuff yet that I've gotten for this week, because I wanted to read it in a chunk, and I didn't want to only have Endless Winter having been read. So I'm like, I'll have to save it for later.
I'll tell you what, dude, that shit's so boring to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so dull. So dull. No, I didn't check out Tarna. It's the heavy metal one. I looked through it. It didn't. I don't know. It looked okay, but I skipped it. Brooks, what else did you read? What do you want to talk about?
Let's see what I got here.
Yeah, grab your stack, man.
Yeah, I got my stack of red books, and the Second Coming, of course. Death metal. Headlopper.
See, that's a book I'm not reading, but that's a book I've read the first 2 volumes of, I guess the first 8 issues. That book's amazing. Tell everybody about Headlopper, because I never talked about it.
This is the 4th volume. So now, in this one, he's traveling with a new kind of crew of this little dude. He's still got the witch head Agatha, and he has this ninja girl that's traveling with him. And in the first issue, it was revealed that he has kind of a checkered past with this dude. He used to be the executioner for this kind of wannabe despot, tyrant type guy. And who's who's now he's basically sending them on a quest to retrieve a couple of things that he wants. And in this issue, they're after the hammer, which is in the possession of Medusa. So they have to fight Medusa to get this hammer back. And Headlopper is just a real fun fantasy comic. I've been really enjoying it.
Hell yeah, man. It's got a great who's the cat that does that? Because the art is really cool. It seems simple, but it's actually very refined as far as its pace and composition and layouts go. It's very Mignola-esque, I think, as far as layouts and pacing.
Andrew McLean.
That shit's really good, man. Yes, Bendis' last issue of Superman was today. His last issue of Action Comics is still coming, though. And they just announced the new writer on Action Comics and Superman is Philip Kennedy Johnson. So that's going to be really cool and exciting. He's doing some of the Future State books, but he's also been doing The Last God, which is totally a Brooks book that I don't think he's been reading. But when that first book, I don't know if the trade's out yet, but you got to check it out. It's called The Last God, and it's this epic fantasy thing with this amazing, beautiful fucking artwork. And it's it even has a source book, so you can role play D&D and shit with it. That sounds right up your shit. I'm pretty sure Beta Ray is a mini. Thank you for reminding me though. Bro, do you know Daniel Warren Johnson's work, right? Wonder Woman, Dead Earth, Murder Falcon. Did you read those books?
I read Murder Falcon. I haven't read Wonder Woman Dead Earth yet.
Dude, you're gonna love that. That's one of the best DC books of the year.
I've been hearing a lot about it.
It's so good. They just announced that he's doing a Beta Ray Bill miniseries.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love Murder Falcon. Murder Falcon was great.
Dude, Murder Falcon was amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad Bendis is off as Superman. You haven't been reading Superman stuff, right?
No, I haven't read Superman in a while.
What else did you read?
Morrison left.
Yeah, not since Morrison left. My man. It's ever since I was a kid, I was telling everybody my comic book origin, and you know it, like, my stepdad Donnie would give me his comics and hand me down, but I became fascinated with Fantastic Four. But it was about Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Superman, and X-Men for me at the beginning, and then I grew into Batman, obviously. So we'll get to actually your origin story. Brooks, why don't you tell everybody how you got into comic books? What's your comic book origin story?
Well, my best friend at the time, Eric, he had been in the comics for a while, and I wasn't really into any of that kind of stuff at the time. I was a reader, I like to read all the fantasy books and stuff like that in the library. But then the X-Men cartoon came out, and my best friend was like, "Oh man, you gotta watch this X-Men cartoon." So I'm like, "Okay, I'll watch it." And I watched the X-Men cartoon. I'm like, "Oh wow," I was really into it. So I was like, I want to start, reading the X-Men comics. And at the time, this friend of mine, he was selling some of his comics off, which is where I got pretty much all of the issues of the Executioner song, which was the first X-Men book. But before that, actually, when I was first getting interested in it, my parents gave me an Easter basket that had a copy that had Uncanny X-Men 300 in it, and an issue of X-Men Adventures. I think it was the 5th issue. It was the one with Juggernaut in it. I remember that.
Oh yeah, I got that one right over there.
Yeah.
Weird flex.
Yeah. And that's pretty much where it started out. I got that, and then I bought pretty much the entire Executioner song saga off of my friend, and then I just started. It would be whenever I go to the grocery store or Walmart with my mom, I go over to the newsstand and see if there's a new issue of X-Men or X-Force or just whatever, and I'd pick it up, and it just went from there.
Hell yeah. For me, it was those first ones because that's what I think Donnie was into. It was the Spider-Man gang war. Was going on, and then I continued reading all that stuff through Maximum Carnage.
Yeah, I remember picking up Maximum Carnage every once in a while.
Love that. Superman was an obsession of mine. I loved reading the new Superman books. I didn't get into Batman books till Nightfall, though. Really. So I felt like that was a good place to jump on as a kid, So that's why they do events sometimes. We had a nice question. BJ, he says, "What is our favorite events in comics? Biggest favorite events?" My favorite event in comics, and I wasn't aware of it as it was going on, is probably my favorite event comic might be Crisis on Infinite Earths. Okay, I just think that the scope of what they did and that story that, that's how you do it, and all the tie-ins, and it's crazy. In my lifetime, one of the most satisfying events in my lifetime, is actually Blackest Night. I thought Blackest Night was a very well done event that had a lot of nice build up. And then had a nice satisfactory ending. It ended in a Care Bear stare, but that's how it's supposed to end, right? You got a rainbow of lanterns. They're going to have a rainbow beat the villain, anyway. Yeah, right? It makes sense. It's like Care Bears. But the one that I have the biggest tinge of nostalgia for is Onslaught for some reason.
Yeah, that's mine right there is Onslaught.
Okay, because I love Onslaught because it spotlighted the Fantastic Four and the Avengers, because I had gotten into Iron Man hardcore in the 90s, and then War Machine happened, and I got even more into Iron Man. So I was really into the idea of the Avengers, and especially the Fantastic Four, being put up on this platform along with the X-Men, because nobody cared about the Avengers or Fantastic Four in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? What do you love so much? So you would say that Onslaught's your favorite event?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of the same thing we do. I was pretty much an X-Men guy, and I read Fantastic Four a little bit here and there. But Fantastic Four was one of those books that, if you're reading from the newsstands, X-Men is a pretty regular thing you'd find on the newsstands. Fantastic Four, you could usually find it, but not every issue, So it was and I like seeing, you know, that crossover, like, because it was like those at the time, those were my two favorite super teams, were the FF and the X-Men, and like seeing them, you know, seeing Reed Richards in an X-Men comic and like all that stuff. That was like, this is actually one of my earliest like big crossover event kind of things that I was ever into.
Nice. I remember absorbing Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah.
And like I couldn't afford to get every issue as a kid, but like our buddy G Funk, his stepdad could, right? And so like I would go over to George's house and read all of the Age of Apocalypse shit like over and over and over again. Really fun stuff, man. Now, Empire is not my favorite event, Herminio. Everybody out there in the chat, what's your favorite event for whatever reason? List a few. Brooks, what's another book you read?
See, there's one I know you probably haven't read. Is I picked this up as a Tracer, Overwatch Tracer, London Calling. Like, you never heard of Overwatch?
What's a TikTok? What's an Overwatch?
It's a game. It's like a multiplayer kind of game. But yeah, I picked this up because like I actually like Overwatch. I played a little bit, not, you know, like I'm not super hardcore into it, but I think it's an interesting concept. I'm like, this will make a good comic book. So I read it. It's a good book. I like it. I'm definitely probably gonna try and pick up the rest of the issues.
Is that game on Nintendo or Sega? Is it Genesis or SNES?
Like they don't really have a Sega equivalent anymore console.
No, they don't.
Kind of died out with the Dreamcast.
And this game probably is not on Nintendo.
Yeah, it's on the Switch.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, dope. Okay, that's cool. It's nice. You know, you don't usually see Nintendo get a lot of the game, like those kind of games, right?
Yeah, they've kind of been being more inclusive nowadays, you know.
That's dope.
There's a lot more variety, especially with like indie games and stuff. Like the Switch is like the spot for indie games. Like indie games would come out for Switch all the fucking time.
So, all right, check this out. Market X says Final Crisis is his favorite event because I needed to reread it 5 times to understand what was going on. I made it a career at my comic shop to be very impressive and explain Final Crisis in 12 minutes to people. But it would take 12 minutes to really accurately explain not just Final Crisis, but the entirety of the Batman run and why it was so brilliant. Do you remember all that stuff, Brooks?
I've never read any of the Crisis. Well, I've read, aside from Metal.
You read the Grant Morrison Batman, but you never read Crisis?
No, I never did.
Oh, my goodness.
Like the whole death of Batman, I thought it was him dying in that helicopter explosion.
Yeah, because you didn't read the rest of this. Bruh, yeah. I got to give you a reading order, man. You got to read some Final Crisis, man. It's going to change your life. Flame of Care says, does Jack Kirby's Fourth World count as an event? Not really, but if it did, it would be at the top for sure.
It doesn't really like cross over much into the mainstream DC universe as much.
Not at first, you know. Yeah. TSG says the first one that comes to mind is Civil War. If House of X Powers of 10 is considered an event, that one too. Yeah, that's an X event. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the X office used to have their own events all the time. Ten of Swords is nothing new to me and Brooks because they did this shit all the time.
Yeah.
Mars liked Inferno back in the day.
Yeah.
Real Dude 6 says Dark Knight's death metal, hands down. Oh, yeah. Babel says Nightfall. That was a big deal. I loved me some damn Jean-Paul Valley. X-Men Inferno. James says I find myself revisiting Flashpoint a lot. Easy Reader says Blackest Night, Brightest Day, War of the Realms. Flaming Carrot says Final Crisis, Dark Knight's Metal, and Dark Knight's Death Metal at the moment.
What was the name of that Batman event where Gotham was like blocked off from the rest of the world?
Fucking No Man's Land, brother.
Yeah, No Man's Land.
No Man's Land was so dope, man.
Yeah, that was a good one. And that Superman one with where the Joker gets the powers of Mr. Mixapitili.
Emperor Joker. Did you say Mixopitili?
Mixapitili. That's what I've always heard it pronounced.
Yeah, however you want to say it. Stefan, we totally agree. Fatal Attractions. Me and Brooks did a Comics Revisited on that one.
Did we?
Yeah. Are you being for real, man? Dragon saying Slot says Black Suit Spider-Man spins off into Venom and Venom yields Carnage. That's real fun stuff. Death of Superman. The Malbolgia Wars. That's some Spawn right there, man.
Spawn, eh?
Hey, it's Bueller. He says, hello, Robbie. I have a guest for you for the next Teen Dog Shades night. Look how he spelled dog, too. Bueller's an OG. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's how the T-Dogs were spelled, man. Bueller, nice to see you, man. You still in Florida? I saw that you had to meet Perry today. X-Men Extinction Agenda. That was the Genosha one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was good stuff. And they used all of that for the animated series.
Yeah, those are like, especially with the Cable stuff. I love how Cable was introduced in that series, where he's just like this random kind of badass mercenary.
Yeah.
Just like shows up and like shoots all these guys, and Gambit's like, "Who are you?" He's like, "The Wild Man of Borneo." And Cable is just so fucking cool in that cartoon.
He is. He's got a cool voice too. What else did you read, Brooks?
Let's see, Fantastic Four.
Nice. What'd you think about that?
I liked it. I thought it was good. Like this, like the Griever's back. She's definitely dangerous. Franklin uses the Iron Man suit. The Silver Surfer's in it for a little bit. It's
yeah,
cool.
for a little bit.
So yeah,
I like how was it Reed that contacted him, right?
Yeah, with the.
I like how he throws in that jab because of their history, his history with Alicia, and he goes, "They're married now."
Like, I don't know, like, was there a thing between those two?
Oh yeah. There was a moment where Alicia actually goes off into space with the Silver Surfer.
Huh.
This is like, this is during Heroes Reborn. This is when after Onslaught. That's what they did with Alicia Masters. I think that's right after that. And then they were dealing with the ramifications. But she wound, because it's even the kind of she's the one that convinces him to give humanity a chance. So there's got to be something there, right?
Yeah. Like, the only thing I haven't liked about this Fantastic Four run is the whole Franklin retcon.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I hope they like undo that, honestly, but it's not the end of the world. It's just like it's kind of a nitpicky thing. I just thought it's kind of dumb.
I don't like it, man. But aside from that, I really think
it.
I think these last 3 issues of Fantastic Four have been the best yet of this new series.
It's kind of like just that one little fucking flaw in the whole thing. Like, this has been so good, but why do you throw that shit in there?
Yeah, it's because I feel like most writers don't know what the hell to do with Franklin Richards and his godlike powers. And they shy away from it, and they try to box it up. And this is something that is consistently done in Fantastic Four, is they always neuter Franklin, right? Mm-hmm. Do you know who didn't neuter Franklin and who embraced that shit? Jonathan Hickman.
Yeah.
So are you telling me that all of Hickman's future stuff now can't happen because and the idea that he's also not a mutant, it's one thing to depower him, but then to be like he's not a mutant. No, that was an ultimate connection the FF had with the X-Men, and that was something that me and you being X and FF fans, we loved that. And
he was considered mutant royalty pretty much, all the mutants look up to Franklin, that dude, he's real Omega level stuff.
Yeah, no shit. Now he's not an Omega level mutant. He's not even a mutant. It's just, and the way Xavier came in just so casually explained it off, it was so ridiculously dumb.
Yeah.
Aside from that, right? But it's still pretty solid. So
yeah. Have you read the New Mutants?
Yeah, I did. It's a start of a new run. Vita Ayala. They are doing really good work, I think. But that book didn't completely grab me. I didn't think it did a great job of completely getting me compelled by this new direction, which I do like, of the older generation of young mutants teaching the younger generation of young mutants.
Yeah. Well, I like that it raised a kind of a question as to there are certain mutants that haven't been resurrected yet, like Madeline Pryor. I think it was Honey Badgers brings up why haven't we brought back Madeline Pryor or Evan? Like, is because she's a clone? Like, does that really matter? And like, oh, she did some bad things. Like, well, Mr. Sinister is sitting on the council. Like, there's all these villains that have done way worse stuff than Madeline Pryor, but they won't bring her back. That is kind of fucked up. And Evan is dead? When did that happen?
Did that happen in Age of X-Men? I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
It happened at some point, but I want to say this. Like, the Madeline Pryor stuff has been addressed, but they haven't really addressed the Evan stuff. In fact, I don't even know if they've mentioned him yet, right?
Like, did they bring back Thunderbird?
I guess so.
I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't.
I think they're all back. Except for
like, we don't need Thunderbird because we got Warpath.
Right. We'd get all too confused with two Proud Stars. I've seen Warpath. I don't know if I've seen Thunderbird. I have to look more into that. But I think we did because I think he was on that initial teaser image. And I think that Hickman made a point to be like, that is Thunderbird, by the way, and not Warpath. But the other, so they've addressed Madeline Pryor, but why not Evan? I mean, obviously he's a reincarnation of Apocalypse. So maybe there's troublesome things going on there. Like, what would it be like to have two Apocalypses? Because he was kind of fated to be the next Apocalypse. Also, don't forget Destiny. They're not bringing back Destiny.
Yeah, but yeah, there's an obvious reason for that.
Yeah, that's obviously going to blow up in Charles.
Shit that's going on and all this.
That's going to blow up in Charles and Eric's face.
Yeah.
Like 100%, because she's going to, and here's something, Sebastian Shaw and maybe Omega Red, they're going to maybe wind up in the dark place, right? In that prison. And just going to say other evil mutants are going to wind up down there. And Mystique's going to break them out. And that's the new Brotherhood. Mm. Boom. There you go. That's how Hickman rebuilds the Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Right?
That'd be interesting, a Mystique-led Brotherhood.
I mean, they've done that before.
She was in Freedom Force. She was the leader of them for a while.
Yeah, and then she went the anti-hero route for a while when she joined X-Force. Remember, she had that, or X-Factor. She had that relationship with Forge.
Yeah.
All right, Forge, my man. Represent. Could you imagine?
X-Force was another one I read this week.
X-Force, yeah. Let's talk about that, brother.
Something's up with Beast, man. Like,
dude, is that Dark Beast?
On the review, like, is he been replaced by Dark Beast again? Like, I doubt they would do that again. But, I mean, he is being pretty shady.
Yes. He's getting way too... Now, I get that X-Force is supposed to be the CIA of the X-Men, right? And my favorite development in this book is when you get, you sometimes you do have to read those info pages because they reveal that Xavier says X-Force has carte blanche to do whatever the hell they feel is necessary. So that means Beast has free reign to do whatever he wants, including Resurrection Protocol, right?
Yeah.
So, like, look what he did with Omega Red in that issue. It's crazy. It is dark, it's twisted. That seems way more like the Age of Apocalypse Beast.
Yeah.
I don't know how they get away with that and Krakoa,
Yeah, well, we never know like, Dark Beast was still alive, like, before all this happened. So, like,
they killed him. Didn't they kill him in that Matthew Rosenberg Uncanny X-Men run right before all this started? Where it was like Cyclops and he lost an eye. You remember that? And they killed a bunch of people.
Think of it.
I think they killed a bunch of people because they knew that Hickman's about to introduce this Resurrection Protocol thing.
Maybe they resurrected the wrong Beast or something.
Bruh, that could be a thing. Or maybe Beast is just crazy.
No, maybe he's finally just cracked. Maybe he's got Sublime in him.
The cool thing about X-Force is the artwork.
Yeah, I really like the artwork in X-Force.
What else do you read? Oh, what did you like the New Mutants, by the way?
Yeah, I like the New Mutants. I thought it was pretty good. They're just trying to get back on footing after the whole Ten of Swords. So
I like how they're getting back. They're getting back to that idea that was set up early on in Hoxpox about synergy of mutant powers, and how the fastball specials, the first example of synergy being used of two mutant powers combining is the fastball special. That's great. That's a nice touch for old fans, man.
Yeah. Let's see. I got one more book that I've read, and it was Star Wars Darth Vader.
Yeah, I'm not reading that one.
I'm reading the Star Wars stuff, but I've been keeping up with it. And this story that they've been doing in Vader has been pretty good because it's like, after Empire, Vader goes back to the Emperor, and the Emperor he's like, I know you're going to betray me, so he fucks him up, and he's basically sent him on this quest to kind of like, how kind of like the dark side cave and Empire that Yoda sends Luke into.
Yeah.
But like he can't use force powers, and basically the Empire just drops him off on this planet and be like you're on your own. You're not allowed to use the force. If you do, I'll know and I'll kill you. So Vader has been like fighting his way to this planet. His armor's all fucked up. He's like basically fused a bunch of droid parts onto himself to, get by. And he's got this crazy bounty hunter guy that's like on his ass the whole time trying to kill him and who stole his lightsaber. So in this issue, he confronts like this being, this kind of psychic being that's on this planet that kind of fucks with him and shows him stuff from his past and stuff. But yeah, like this, I'm really liking the Darth Vader story they've been doing so far.
I've been hearing really good things about that one, man.
Yeah, it's been pretty good.
So you're not reading Stillwater or Rorschach?
No, haven't read Stillwater since the first issue.
Did you pick this one up?
No.
This one was actually really freaking good, bro. First of all, it's called Black Christmas.
Yeah.
Black Christmas. But it's a silent issue, brother.
The Hulk just hides out in somebody's attic. The attic in the sorority house.
He calls him up.
Yeah.
Hulk is the strongest one there is.
Hulk
really
smash.
It's just a one shot, but it's got great artwork, and it, like I said, it's a silent issue, so it's like enough said. I just read that enough said issue of New X-Men the other day.
Yeah.
I'll let you know as soon as I'm done, brother. What I'm going to have to start doing, I got the whole season planned out. What I'm going to start doing is just letting you guys know when I finish reading it. Do you read Decorum, right?
No, I haven't read Decorum since I got the first issue, but I haven't been reading it since then.
And you're not reading this one?
No.
Brother, that's one of your books, man. Trust me. Stargazer was also a great one. Really cool, like alien abduction story. The Power Ranger books are amazing. These are some more of my favorites. What were y'all's favorites? What's a book you want to talk about? I got Green Lantern. Loving this one. You're not picking this one up, the Grant Morrison Green Lantern?
No, I picked up that's another one I picked up the first issue and I haven't been.
You can't keep up with everything, right?
Yeah.
Got the final issue of Batman's Grave.
Is Warren Ellis still canceled?
Yeah, but that's his final issue of Batman's Grave because it was just meant to be 12 issues. But yeah, we actually dropped some episodes from Comics Revisited Season 3 because of that. I did want to let everybody know I picked up the Star Wars Voyager book, but I mean, I don't know when I'm going to fucking read it. And I do want to share this one, everybody. Look what I got here. We did it. We hit our fundraising goal Sunday night. So this week I'm reading Savage Avengers. We're going to talk about it. Brooks, I'm going to get caught up on 16 issues of Savage Avengers. That Conan Avengers book.
Yeah.
Which
I
I'm
read
kind of
the first few issues of that, but I kind of fell off of it.
It looks like we got Juggernaut involved now. And Magic.
Huh.
That's interesting.
Kind of like an Uncanny Avengers thing going there.
There's my Fantastic Four. So I decided to skip all this bullshit from Endless Winter, but I do collect Aquaman, so I have to fucking buy this one, which pisses me off. I was not impressed with this Amethyst book at all. This is the final issue, so I'm glad it's over. You know me and Amethyst, Brooks. But I do want to...
I did not know you were a big Amethyst guy.
Did you not, dude?
No.
Man, I got all that shit. So I got this one. It's from... They do this book called Creeps, right? That's Creeps right there. They do this book called Creeps. And Creeps, I think, is basically taking issues of Creepy magazine and kind of repurposing them, which I don't know if I like how good that is or whatever. But Brooks, you know me. You may not know I was an Amethyst fan, but you know I'm a vampire fan.
Yeah.
And you know I like lady vampires at times. So this is apparently based on the old Vampirilla book, and it's Vampirus Carmilla. So I think that this is just the first issue of Vampirilla, but like I don't know. I got to look more into this, but I think it's just repurposed stuff. Like I think they use the artwork from the old days. So it's black and white, but they're all vampire stories, and it's kind of got that sleazy vibe to it that you get in those, like, this is the Warren books, right? But I like it. I really like the cover too, for some reason. Don't judge me, Brooks.
I would never do that.
Yeah. Savage Avengers is so good. I can't believe Savage Avengers isn't a Max book. All right. So Brooks,
Max?
yeah, because they did a recent Fury book there. They did that Jessica Jones book there, didn't they? So I think it's still a thing that they use when they. Why do I never see you review a Vampirilla title? Guilty pleasure. I tried reading Vampirilla because Christopher Priest was doing it, and I just couldn't get into it. But I'm waiting on the trade to come out. So there you go. Oh, they're new stories. Okay, they're not repurposed. They're new stories in the Warren mold. Thank you so much, Mars Eclipse. That's cool. That's good to know. They look neat though. It looks old school. Look at some of those pages. I like this kind of shit, man. Look at that. You see that?
Yeah.
It's the cover though says, "Watch out, a teen vampirist nymph is waiting for you inside."
Like some old exploitation movie shit.
I'm gonna tell you what, man. Dylan's gonna be asking me for that this weekend. You just wait and see.
Hey, man, you got that Carmilla?
I'd be like, you should have pre-ordered it, man. Look through previews every once in a while. I looked through previews and saw it, and I was like, that seems cool.
It's kind of funny because there's actually a character in the Castlevania animated series called Carmilla.
Oh, yeah? Well, this is based on an old vampire story. I think that predates Dracula, right?
Oh, yeah, really? Huh.
Yeah, because I actually have an Audible. Yeah, it's a book. Carmilla, 1872. Irish author, early works of vampire fiction predating Dracula by 26 years. There's an audio adaptation of it that you can get on Audible with David Tennant. That's really good.
You say David Tennant, I'm like,
Dude, have you ever gotten Audible?
No, I never did. My buddy Daniel did. He says he's really liking it.
I love Audible. And there's so many books there. And I know you're a big fiction guy, but there's a lot of nonfiction stuff too. I'm mostly into that. But if you sign up for Audible, your first month is free. You can try it for a month for free. And it's like $15-16 a month. But what happens is you get 1 credit a month, and you can use that credit for any Audible book, no matter the price, right? So you can get like a $30 book, right, for $16 basically, because you get a free credit. But your first month is free, and you get a free credit. So you could actually try it out and try it with a book. Like The Sandman's on Audible. You heard about that, right?
Yeah, I heard about that. Daniel was telling me about that.
So fucking good, bro. They do the first 3 books, I think. They do through Dream Country. James McAvoy is Morpheus. It's great, dude. It is so good. And it's like 20 hours long. So you can get that for free.
Translated the artwork into like spoken word.
Yeah, because it's dramatized, obviously, and there's music and there's sound effects. It's brilliant, bro. I listened to it while walking at the end of the summer, and I absorbed it. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. And they have amazing voice actors. Like, I don't remember the cat's name that does the Corinthian, but it's creepy as hell. And when he takes off his shades, you hear like 3 voices overlap together. It's so freaking good, dude. So freaking good. Hey, Salmon is talking. What's that?
You haven't got the Season of Mist yet?
No. No, I guess that will be Volume 1 is just, it's Preludes and Nocturnes, it's The Dollhouse, and it's Dream Country.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. So that basically they could do 3 or 4 volumes of this and encapsulate everything. Salmon is Talking Gun. I mentioned briefly on the weekly comic book review. I didn't get a physical copy of it at the shop, but I did get a chance to read it, and it was really, really cool with some great action scenes and a cool mystery being built up. But it's literally, Brooks, about this dude who's like this badass action star, and his gun talks to him. And it's called Salmon is Talking Gun. It's ridiculous, but it was really fun. Brooks, if you had to pick, which would you say is your favorite book of 2020 so far?
2020. I think I said Thor was my favorite so far.
Still holds true.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been liking Thor a lot.
What are you thinking about this Prey story, this Donald Blake stuff?
I'm liking it. I'm like, it's interesting to see like Donald Blake just like raising all his hell, like damn, what happened to him?
No shit, right? So obviously, it seems like this was something we were talking about in our monthly meetup, but like it seems like he's got some kind of a connection to the Odin or Thor force or whatever, right? Like whoever's in the real world has access to the power, right?
Yeah.
That seems pretty wild. And speaking of pretty wild, guess who just followed me on Twitter randomly? Kenneth Rocafort. Kenneth Rocafort, the artist. It's pretty dope. That's pretty dope when you get a follow from a comic book artist.
Yeah.
Pretty well known. So that's pretty cool. I wonder how that happened. I wonder if he's watching right now.
You know he is.
Maybe. Maybe he's not. Who knows? Maybe he likes Vampirus Carmilla. Brooks is like, you want a copy of this, Brooks? You want me to see if I can still order more?
Yeah, totally, man.
It's only $6, bro. And I missed out. I missed out on this Creeps one, but it's been going for a few issues, you see.
Yeah.
But I figured I could start here, and especially if it's focused on like cheesy, sleazy vampire fiction. Oh, damn. There's even nudity in here, bro.
Cheesy, sleazy.
Oh, man. Look at that. Back issues of Monster Bash for your private collection. I get the occasional monster magazine, but I used to like order too many monster magazines, right? And horror movie magazines. And I would order these magazines and I would never read them, right? And so then I just started ordering the ones that seem to have content that I in particular would be really into. And for the most part, I still don't really read them as much as I should. I still got one I got because it has this whole thing about the Brides of Dracula, the Hammer movie, which I really like. But I still haven't read that, but whatever. It's a weird stretch,
Yeah.
Abel says, evil Donald Blake is awesome. Donald Blake did Bill dirty. Yes, he did.
Well, Thor did Bill dirty too, so.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Poor Bill, man. He's been taking so much abuse lately. Like his best friend just beat him up. And then like Donald Blake comes back and just beats him up and like degrades him and shit. We need to see Bill get some payback.
Yeah, we really do. Yeah, we really do. Brooks, what indies do you read right now? I know you don't read everything, but you've read some, and you do read some. What do you really dig on?
Well, let's see. Headlopper, of course, is one. What else?
Hey, that's Kenneth Rocafort right there. Station. Hell yeah. That's awesome. Hell yeah. Well, we solved that mystery, Brooks. That's awesome.
World's Greatest Detectives.
I did, right? It's because of all those years of reading Batman comics. I did read Black Cat #1, and it surprised me how much I actually did enjoy it. So, yeah, I actually liked it. I'm not usually the biggest Black Cat fan. I usually think it's Catwoman for Spider-Man,
Yeah.
But she's got luck powers that sometimes writers do clever things with, and sometimes they don't. But I don't know. But I actually like the first issue. It's a King in Black story. You're staying away from all those King in Black tie-ins, aren't you, Brooks?
Yeah. Like, I'll stick to the mainline series of that, I think. Like, maybe I should read the Venom issues at least, though.
Well, are you not already reading Venom?
No, I haven't been reading. I think I picked up like the first 3 issues of Venom.
Bruh, you got the first 3? Yeah. What's the big one? Is it 3 or 4? One of those issues is crazy. I think you might have stopped collecting before it got really crazy because you missed the first appearance of Dylan. Oh, Brooks, what is wrong with you? Brooks is this big marble head. He's like, yeah, King of Black's awesome. Oh man, no, I ain't been reading Venom. Man. I ain't been reading Venom.
I've got a fucking tower of long boxes. It's about to collapse on me and crush me to death. That's how I'm gonna die probably. I'll be putting that one last long box on there, and it's just gonna like fall on top of me. I'll be like the Wicked Witch of the East.
You know that happened to Rob in our warehouse one time.
Oh really?
Yeah, dude. Like an entire rack, like an entire. You've been up there,
yeah.
Right? If you notice, they're all tied now to those poles or whatnot, or the big structural beams. They're all tied to that now. He was up there one time, an entire fucking rack of Wolverine fell on him, and downstairs it just sounded like a fucking earthquake. So we ran up.
Heavy.
We ran upstairs. He's fine. He was fine. But we ran upstairs, got him out, and that was a mess. It was like, I don't know. It's racks kind of like maybe you got like, let's say 25 boxes on a rack, and he had at least 4 of them fall on him.
Yeah, I can imagine that'd be pretty painful. I mean, like, especially a full long box. It's got some good weight behind it.
Oh shit!
Like a whole wall of them falling on top of you. That could kill a man in the right circumstances.
3 is the first null. 4 is the origin story. So you got lucky with that 3. Make sure it's in good condition, brother.
Might need to dig those out.
If you want to sell them, bring them to the shop. We'll give you store credit. Mm-hmm. Comic shops are dangerous. Not too long after that, a fucking SUV drove through our comic shop and almost hit me. So that was nice. It didn't almost hit me like I dove out of the way. It's not that dramatic, but I could have been in the path if it was just a few seconds later.
I remember seeing that video. Like my brother-in-law, who was a police officer, like, you hear about what happened to the Deep? I was like, no. He like showed me this video, and I saw you over there, like you had some books or something on a table, and you were picking them up, and then all of a sudden this car just goes,
yeah,
right by, and you just pick up the books and walk off the camera. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, dude, that was a crazy day. It's a crazy day. That video went viral. You can still find it on YouTube. Just type in SUV drives through comic shop, and that's me in the Auburn hoodie holding D&D books, walking to the shelf to stock these D&D books, which we had just received. And the shelf,
love the D&D books.
Yeah, and the shelf was at the window. You remember before we moved the car department over there? The shelf was at the window that the fucking SUV drove through. So I was walking towards that exact thing when it happened. That's fucking crazy. Just a wave of glass, I remember, and just being in like shock for a while. That fucked me up for a little bit. It was great. Hey, what's up, Mike? Mike's like talking about when the comics fell on Robbie's, like it was all of Wolverine, Wonder Woman, and X-Men. I think it was something like 20 plus long boxes. I'll put the video on Facebook. There's a video of it or the aftermath. There can't be a video of it. Or are you talking about the video of the SUV driving through?
Yeah, that's crazy. I remember seeing that. I'm like, what? Someone just drove a damn car through the comic shop? What?
Oh, what the hell? Mike just sent me this picture of some kind of monster cereal thing. They look dope as hell. What are those? Oh, those are beautiful. You see that, Brooks?
Oh, huh. They have tiny little cereal boxes with them too?
Yeah, that's man. Crazy. They're all there except for Fruit Brute. That's dope. What was I going to say? You weren't here last week, so are there any comics that came out last week that you read that you want to talk about that you really liked?
Shoot, I don't remember what I read last week.
Did you read?
I forget what I read like within a couple of days usually.
Did you read Homesick Pilots?
Yes, that was a good one. I like that a lot. I like that book a lot, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you like about it?
It's I just thought it was an interesting story, like these kids, you know. I like the art, how like there's like a 2-page spread of the house, like different rooms in the house, and you see like the 2 groups of characters like meet each other at the end.
Yeah.
And like in the end when all that crazy shit goes down, like I'm intrigued by it, you know.
Yeah, that was a really fun one, man. Crossover came out last week. Did you read that?
I haven't read the second issue yet. I just picked it up today because I forgot to get it last week.
Okay.
But I'm gonna read it.
Did you get the final issue of Bill and Ted Are Doomed?
No, I didn't.
Oh man, came out last week. We'll have to get you one.
Oh, that was last week.
Yeah. Bruh. Let's see what else. Marauders last week. I know you got to speak on that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Talk to us about it.
Kill Shaw, but they don't kill Shaw. Instead, they just like seriously fuck him up and like poison him and put him in a wheelchair and like
take him over
like their puppet.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Like, and like nobody at the on the council table really has much to say. Like, well, are we gonna address this whole thing? You know, Sebastian being this weird fucked up zombie thing. Let's take a vote.
Yeah, like nobody gives a shit. Real Dude 6 is out. He says, I'm done with chores. Bros, it's time to read my books. I'm going to spark a bowl, crack a beer, put on some death metal, and read me some death metal. Hell yeah, man. Enjoy it. Station.
What does spark a bowl mean?
He's talking about cereal, right?
Oh.
Right. Oh, my comic fell over. How long ago did that happen?
He just electrifies his cereal bowl.
Yeah, you just electrify a cereal bowl. That's funny as hell.
Just put jumper cables on the side of your cereal bowl before you eat your cereal.
Yeah, I did notice Elektra in Daredevil, King in Black #1. Once somebody told me that she was in there, and I went back because she's there really tiny. Brooks, did you read Sword #1?
Yeah, I like Sword.
What'd you like about it?
Is well, mostly just all the characters in it. You know, like it's got a lot of. I like Magneto's little walkthrough. You know, I like the Fabian Cortez is like all like, you know, trying to get back in with Magneto, and Magneto's just like, why is he here?
Yeah.
Like if you know the history between Fabian Cortez and Magneto, that's super funny because he was like he was a guy who basically got in good graces with Magneto in like the first issue of X-Men, like back in the day. And he ended up betraying him and killing him, you know. And like that, like I think didn't like Exodus end up murdering Cortez at the end of Blood Ties?
Did he murder him or did he like do a Sebastian Shaw to him? I don't remember.
I thought he did because I thought he like just like vaporized him at the end of that.
He might have.
I'd have to reread Blood Ties.
They brought Fabian back though out of everybody. One of my favorite things about it though is how Magneto pretends not to know who he is. Like that's so fucking petty.
Then there's this other guy. He's like, "Hey, you!"
Yeah. Love it.
The guy with the eyes, the magic eyes.
Yeah. No Fable. I haven't read Piecemeal yet. The Scarpad's in the house. What's up? He says, "Blaze a blunt, mofos." Hell yeah.
Who has the money to do that?
Yeah, no.
What do you think we are, millionaires?
I'll just say this though. Roadhouse Night was fun. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna speak on it.
I finally watched Roadhouse. They had it for free on YouTube. Unfortunately, though, it is the TV edited version.
Oh, that sucks. What? I bet you. What does he say instead of "I used to fuck like guys like you in prison"?
Guys like you in prison. It is basically just like kind of white out all the heavy swears. No titties.
No.
A lot of the violent, like you don't see the throat rip.
Oh
but,
man.
You know, I got the story, so I was like,
You're like, that's the part you missed. You got all the rest the first time.
The classic line, well, I'm not going to pull my out.
Yeah. I heard you had big enough to in a dump truck.
Yeah, surprisingly, that line still made it in, though.
That line made it in. That's hilarious. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, man. Well, here's the thing, Scarpad, is if I'm going to watch a TV edit, I would at least want them to do some dumbass replacement dialogue.
The Scarface. Where'd you get that scar, tough guy? Eating pineapple?
Brooks didn't read Solid Blood number 17, but I think he's going to come and try to pick it up. When I go in tomorrow, I'll throw one in your box if we still got them. We were selling them at Cover, and I think they were selling for more at other shops. So, but I'll get you one easy, I'm sure. So you'll like it. I don't know if it's continuing. I don't know if it's continuing. What's that?
It being printed on newsprint?
Oh yeah, dude. The only thing is, if it's printed on newsprint, why is it still $3.99?
Yeah, really. Like, come on. Come on, it should be $1.50 like back in the day,
or at least $2.99 like Spawn. Spawn's not on new print, but whatever.
Gotta get that money.
All right, Brooks.
People only do things because they get paid. That's sad.
Brooks, are you ready for the Festivus stream?
Yeah, man.
It's next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, I need to try and remember to get a poll if I can find one.
I got to find an actual pole. If not, I'll just use the damn Trident again. If you can find an extra pole, you let me know and get me one.
Yeah, I'm sure I can find a damn steel or aluminum pole.
Well, this is your reminder.
I'm sure it will work, and I'll remember.
So it's going to be next Wednesday night at 8 p.m. our time, Central Time, right? And so we're going to air our grievances like normal, right?
I'm disappointed in a lot of you people.
And you're going to hear about it. So there you go. And then we're going to do our feats of strength, right? But this is what we're doing for our feats of strength. Ready? You're going to reveal your top 5 favorite pickups of the year. Whether it's comic books, toys, it's probably, knowing us, going to be a lot of toys. But your top 5 favorite buys of the year, collectible-wise. Okay? And then we'll have the audience vote on who wins the feat of strength. And then they get the final say. And then, there you go. Right?
Mine is going to be all toys, most likely.
Yeah. Oh, I don't worry. Mine's all toys. And I tell you what, I think I'm winning. So basically, it's like, who had the strongest...
You work at a comic shop.
But all mine are toys. I do work at a toy shop too.
Yeah.
Same place. Mike says I'm working on acquiring a pole. There's still a pole that's toppled over outside of the deep over there where it looks like someone ran through that fucking construction site.
Yeah. They knock over that fence already?
One person did at one point, it looks like. Yeah. But, yeah. Whose birthday is it? Somebody's birthday in here? Young Cheese. Hey, Robbie, it's my birthday. Station, happy birthday.
Fishing for them happy birthdays.
That's okay, man. We fish for happy birthdays and shit. Daisy Falls says Todd is a G for that still being $2.99. Hell yeah, actually. How many Solid Bloods did my shop get? I'm not going to give you exact numbers, but they're probably, if I had to guess, based on numbers of Oblivion Song, Firepower, or Outcast. Probably based on a combination of the 3. And I will say that we got numbers equivalent to an average of those. So actually, we're probably out now, to be honest with you. But I'll find you one, Brooks. We'll get you. Don't worry about it. I'll call Diamond and be like, you pieces of shit, I need more of this. You didn't even tell me this book was coming out. I'm going to cancel my account. I'm going to go DC exclusive. Brooks needs one from PCP, God damn it.
Shit.
We better get it right now.
Yeah.
Did anyone pick up Ready Player 2? Just saw it at Barnes & Noble. Oh, they did a sequel to that book. Just came out. But Ready Player 1, they did a sequel. Brooks, you read more than me.
Yeah, I read Ready Player 1.
Apparently there's Ready Player 2.
Oh, interesting.
Ready
Player 1 was all right. I don't know. It has some weird things about it, I guess. But it is kind of a love letter to pop culture. So I never seen the movie either. I heard it was all right.
I haven't seen that movie.
I mean, it looks interesting, like visually, like because they got a bunch of that stuff in that. I saw they had the Iron Giant and shit in there, the DeLorean from Back to the Future.
Yeah, man. So, I I opened this the other day. It's an old school putty, Brooks. And this one, you hit the Z, you know? And what happened?
Yeah, the super putties that they couldn't figure out how to beat for a while. And it's like, oh, maybe if we hit that thing in the middle of their chest, that'll take them out.
And then they were no longer threatening.
Yeah. This is like, duh, Power Rangers.
Thanks
like,
for putting a target.
Was there for?
Thanks for putting a target, Lord Zed.
Yeah. Well, putties were never like that threatening at all anyway. It's kind of like, why even send those? It's just like, they're like a warning sign, like, hey, I'm about to do something. Here's some putties.
It's just to wear down the Rangers, man. They're just to wear down the Rangers until, like somebody else, like the monster shows up and gets big, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because they always they're tired, but they wind up in the Zord anyway. If you really wanted to make the putties scary, that's what you do right there. Yeah, right. He just shows up like in the dark, like
he shows up at the juice bar.
Yeah, man, Angel Grove. Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. Well, that's pretty much it for the conversation tonight. Brooks, thank you so much for joining us here.
Yeah, man. Good times.
Yeah, man. We like doing these. We're not going to do one of these next week because of the Festivus stream. And then we will see what the new year provides. We'll see. We'll see how our plans line up here. But Brooks, thank you so much, man, for joining us. Final thoughts to the PCP Army tonight?
Final thoughts. I have none.
I don't have any either. We'd like to be witty at this point in the broadcast, however.
Like I need to like actually think about a final thought sometimes, you know.
Well, think about it for Friday. And Here we go. Here's a good final thought. Join us Friday night, 9 p.m. Central Time for our live discussion about Gremlins. And then join us Saturday night on Dylan's Comics to talk about Krampus. Are you watching Krampus with us, Brooks?
Is it like available on Netflix or anything?
I don't think so. You can come over tomorrow night and watch it with me if you want.
Okay.
I'll message you.
You're watching.
Oh, what's good for you?
Tomorrow's Thursday. Anytime, pretty much.
How about 8?
8. That'll do.
All right, brother. We'll see you then. PCP Army, thank you so much. Thanks for rocking with us.